Hi there, targeted individual Dell, and as promised, I'm coming back today to start the read-through of Transhuman Genocide Enemy at the Gate by Ron Johnson. Okay. Once again, this is supposed to be a guide to EMF shielding, a little bit about directed energy weapons, a little bit about artificial intelligence, a little bit about the technology being used to torture us every day. I don't have one of those fancy top-down cameras. So I'm just going to read it to you this way until that happens. Okay. I just need to include that this is for entertainment purposes only, and this read-through is not my opinion. It's just me reading a published book. Okay. Okay, starting on page 1. Ultimate Guide to EMF Shielding, Directed Energy Weapons, and Artificial Intelligence. Page 2, dedicated to those that have been killed or injured by directed energy weapons. And then here's the table of contents. We're going to start in the introduction today. I don't know how far we'll get. We'll see how long I feel like reading. Okay. Page 4 goes over the manufacturers of directed energy weapons, Lockheed Martin, which, according to Ron Johnson, is involved in research and development of high-energy laser weapon systems for defense applications. Boeing, for its work on various defense systems, including high-power laser and microwave-based directed energy systems. Northrop Grumman conducts research and development on directed energy systems, including laser and high-power microwave technologies for defense purposes. Raytheon Technologies, and Sabrina Wallace talks a lot about Raytheon every now and then. They engage in development of laser and microwave-based directed energy technologies for military applications. MBDA, which I don't know what that stands for, a European defense contractor involved in researching and developing high-energy laser and other directed energy systems. BAE Systems participates in the research and development of directed energy weapons, including laser-based systems. And Rafael Advanced Defense System, known for its work on high-energy laser technologies and other directed energy systems. And then he goes on to point out barcodes and how it's the mark of the beast and 666s and everything, and I will just show you that page. I don't really consider myself religious or anything. I definitely know that there's quite a bit of evil out there, and you don't have to be a demon to do evil. But to some people, they'll say, oh, it's a demon responsible for the evil. Whatever. Okay, page 5, introduction. Artificial intelligence continues to grow in every domain as it advances towards a beast system. Cashless society, digital IDs, social credit scores, brain chips, 15-minute cities are all on the horizon as the establishment prepares to enslave you with a form of tyranny that is far worse than anything you could possibly imagine. Page 6 is a picture of Elon Musk in some kind of demon armor. And here's page 7 while we're here. As we struggle to survive the Hunger Games of the modern era, the forces of evil are positioning themselves for a total control of the planet and the assimilation of humanity. Much of the world around us is already controlled by the beast system technology, and it won't be long before this technology begins assimilating humans like the Borg. What's a Borg? This process of assimilation is only a few short years away thanks to brain hacking technologies such as Elon Musk's Neuralink and Starlink, which I don't know who the developers of that are. The plan is to link everyone together into a hive mind that is controlled by a supercomputer. You can see here back on page 7. It's got this dude with the chippy in the back and the brainstem. And then this. Doesn't that kind of look like me, though? Okay, page 8. Companies controlled by Elon Musk are at the forefront of this assimilation process, and they're even preparing to unleash an army of robots that will emerge with SpaceX to become the new Space Force arm of the military. And when that happens, there will be no stopping where Elon's armies can be normalized or imposed. This ELON Borg system will not only revolutionize the military and automate the modern world, it will literally harvest the mind, body, and soul of every human that walks the earth through forced assimilation. Then we've got a post from someone, Tom Porter, in November 22nd, 2023. The Pentagon is moving towards letting AI weapons autonomously decide to kill humans. Here's page 8. And here's page 9. Unfortunately, the X factor isn't alone trying to make assimilation happen. Tech companies worldwide are working together to facilitate an AI takeover, an event that they call the singularity. Scary. A term astrophysicists use to describe a black hole, which turns out to be very fitting, given that the singularity event will suck everybody in and wipe out organic life as we know it. This is for entertainment purposes only. These are not my opinions or ideas. These are not my opinions or my ideas. I'm just reading this book. The end game of the system is to use technology to destroy everything organic on the planet. Every natural life form on Earth, as a result, is being slow killed as a part of the coming assimilation process. And we have an image. Why are we so quick to blame disease on genetics and contagions, and not the fact that our food, water, and air are being systematically poisoned? We've got, what, Monsanto, probably, poison water, and all the friggin' chemtrails. Page 11. This is the reason why they're terraforming the planet with chemtrails, transforming organic life into GMOs, targeting wildlife with mRNA gene-altering vaccines, dosing the water supply with fluoride and chemical spills. They do this and so much more that organic humans won't be able to survive what's coming. They want to make everything in the future so horrific that assimilation will look like the best option. The tech industry cult and its minions have already become a breakaway civilization, and will soon remake society in their own image, just like the movies Blade Runner, Terminator, and The Matrix. While these movies were meant to scare us with nightmare scenarios, tech gurus and the left view this type of dystopian future as their religion. Their aim is to assimilate mankind, and so this will lead to the extermination of organic humanity as we know it, in very much the same way as the Europeans wiped out the Native Americans. Genocide and enslavement, colonization, are nearly always the hallmarks of a more advanced civilizations meeting less advanced civilizations. If you think these people on the left look hostile now, just wait until their robots patrol the streets, enforce lockdowns, and replace you at work. On page 12, we've got some kind of robot dog. And page 13, what is that? Some kind of robot facility, factory. Robots are now walking off the assembly lines as quickly as new cars, and will replace 80% of the workforce within 10 years. And while nearly everyone is celebrating this technology on their cell phones, they will soon discover the future horrors that awaits them. What sounds cool today will feel quite different when the system begins inserting probes into your brain to impose death by assimilation. Little by little, everything that makes you free and human will be stripped away from you. And when the jobs are gone, and when the freedoms are gone, and when the genders are gone, and when everything is poisoned to shorten your lifespan, that's when the real nightmares will begin. If you think things are bad now, just wait until you see what's coming. Skeptics may be surprised to discover that the establishment has already found the politically correct term for your assimilation: transhuman. It means transitioning yourself from a human into a cyborg. The fine print, of course, is that these future assimilated cyborgs will be controlled by a central computer to form a collective hive mind, or a singular consciousness, the singularity. They call it transhuman, but what they really are is the Borg. Okay, this dude keeps referencing the Borg, and I just don't know who that is or what that is. I'm going to have to Google it or something. While many people see this threat coming, most of it is still decades away. Unfortunately, artificial intelligence thinks at nearly the speed of light, and its progress towards worldwide assimilation is far beyond where most people think it is. While we've been distracted by lockdowns, wars, and politics, the AI-driven transhumanist consortium has been quietly developing and rolling out energy weapons in a grid-like pattern from coast to coast in preparation for a war, and has already begun assimilating dissidents that would oppose the new cyborg world order. The takeover, ladies and gentlemen, and others, has not only begun, it is now entering its final stages. Page 15. An image of a dude probably being hit by dudes. He's like, ah, my heart. The people cooker, electronic silent weapon used by secret services worldwide to incapacitate, torture, and murder. Beam Weapons Digest, 2013, issue number 1. Inside, political assassination, slow kill microwave weaponry, and the New World Order. Targeted kill list. Firing at the chest with a microwave blast puts the human heart into a chaotic state. Military crowd control, pain without injury. DDs.com. I don't know what that is, but I might. And here is page 15, that image that I was just looking at. It's the guy's like holding his heart, getting hit by a dude, and they've got this vehicle here. It's just beaming shit at everybody. And this is DDs.com. I don't know what that is. If someone wants to check that out and let me know, I'd appreciate it. Page 16. Modern-day energy weapons have become so advanced that they can now wipe out an entire continent while it sleeps. Deep underground bases equipped with Tesla howitzers can irradiate the surface of any continent with devastating ELF attacks. Energy weapons have evolved to such an extent they can hit high-speed targets such as planes, and can even drone pedestrians with surgical precision miles away. And let's see, the image is of a forest cut down with those flippin' towers. I hate those towers. I don't know about y'all, but every time I see one, The current development of energy weapons is so massive that it is now impossible to escape the death grid. Nearly everything connected to the internet has been weaponized, including cell phones and cell towers. These devices have been programmed to track and kill using beamforming 5G technology, and use targeting software that is integrated at the factory level or hacked in by the NSA. Anyone who has used a microwave oven knows what electromagnetic radiation can do. This safe and non-ionizing form of radiation can actually cook raw meat, and in its weaponized form can kill in mere seconds. Exposure to safe forms of radiation, like microwaves, have been linked to everything from cancers to flu-like symptoms. Cities are now flooded with never-seen-before levels of radiation, and as a result, cancer rates have exploded. And this is very true. Cancer rates have doubled and even tripled in some categories since the rollout of 5G technology, and while many other eugenics programs are partly to blame, radiation exposure is the ultimate trigger for most cancers and diseases in the modern day. I think this is a little piece of a picture of a microwave, some kind of laser. Page 18. The COVID 5G connection is just one of many examples on how electrified technology is linked to disease. COVID exploded onto the world stage right after the rollout of 5G, and while this may seem irrelevant to most, the emergence of new technologies have been linked to pandemics and have been used by the elites for occult purposes since the days of polio and the Spanish flu. The occults love using safety as a pretext for control, and everything they do revolves around the problem, reaction, solution paradigm. And then there's an image of folks, and it says, wear a mask or go to jail. Rip. And then here's the next page. There's a big old 5G tower right there in what looks to be like a neighborhood? It is, it's a neighborhood. Page 19. In the early 1900s, as electricity rolled out into the cities and rural communities, people began experiencing polio-like symptoms, neurological diseases, due to electromagnetic pollution from transmission lines and wiring. As radio towers rolled out and peaked into nationwide broadcasting by 1920, the Spanish flu emerged and ravaged society in the exact same way COVID did. While infectious agents and other factors may have been part of the pandemic equation, EMF exposure made these diseases exponentially worse. Every wireless technology upgraded since the Spanish flu has been linked to an exotic virus, epidemic, or a type of neurological disease. The rollout of TV broadcasting brought polio back onto the scene, and it stayed in the news for decades as the rollouts of radar and satellite, weather balloon, transmissions pummeled society with increased levels of radiation. It wasn't a vaccine that cured polio, it was the die-off of people that were biologically sensitive to the new levels of radiation that cured polio. People have different tolerances to radiation, like the way they have different tolerances to alcohol. Page 20. Every new era of technology has sparked a new era of disease. As the first generation of cellular technology rolled out in 1980, which was the 1G, the H1N1 outbreak was everywhere in the news. When 2G cellular technology came out in 1991, it made many people sick, and the television called that outbreak a mysterious wave of cholera. Vibrio cholerae. In 1999, as 3G cellular technology was going up nationwide, the outbreak of West Nile disease started making headlines. West Nile, of course, is a neurological disease. I previously thought West Nile was transmitted by infected mosquitoes because when I was in high school, I was diagnosed with West Nile. This is page 20, the page I just read. And here's page 21. It's just an image of what looks to be a water tower with just a crap ton of panels attached to it. Page 22. As 3G technology was upgraded into 3G LTE in 2002 to 2004 period, it gave us SARS 1.0 and the bird flu. When 4G came online in 2009, it spawned the outbreak of swine flu. And of course, when 5G hit the scene in 2019 to 2019 to 2020 period, nearly everyone got the COVID bat flu. While it's true that massive epidemics have occurred during times when sewers and hydrants hardly existed, the While it's true that massive epidemics have occurred during times when sewers and hygiene hardly existed, the epidemics of the modern era never should have happened. The link between pandemics and technology wasn't very obvious at first, but after COVID hit, many people started seeing the connection. The Wuhan 5G timeline worked like clockwork. Wuhan launched 5G on October 31st, 2019, and just days later, COVID erupts right there. And by December of that year, it had become a major disease outbreak. 5G launched globally soon after Wuhan, and its COVID-causing effects were immediately reported soon thereafter. In retrospect, it became obvious that the rollout of 5G was coordinated worldwide to fit inside the COVID narrative. Here's page 22. And here's page 23. I haven't read 23 yet. As people were locked down, death towers sprang up like mushrooms around them. The entire process was beyond nefarious to witness, but it woke a lot of people up to the connection between rollouts of technology and pandemics. And when people started looking back in a time, they saw the same process repeat itself over and over again, and that's when the light bulb started going off. While this connection looks solid in theory, let's dive into why this makes even more sense from a biology perspective. Exciting. I love biology. Supermarkets for savings. Is that what that says? It looks like that's somewhere out in the East Coast. That building from page 23 definitely looks really East Coasty. Page 24. And then here's the image of page 25. Right outside someone's window. This connection between technology and disease is related to how EMF affects individual cells and the immune system. Radiation-induced damage to the immune system leads to a form of immune deficiency similar to AIDS that allows other diseases to flourish, including cancers. It's why power lines are so closely associated with leukemia. White blood cells are highly sensitive to radiation. And since power lines are literally giant 60 Hz antennas that propagate ELF, restrictions had to be put in place to contain the damage they cause to levels that were deemed as acceptable losses. My whole outside my window, there's just like giant power lines just right outside my window. But their effect on white blood cells is beyond official. This connection between EMF radiation and immune suppression has been confirmed time and time again, not only by researchers, but even by the Pentagon. That DoD document will be included in the FAQ, in the facts, frequently asked questions. EMF plays another important role in disease propagation through a process that is commonly referred to as magnetically existent transfection. The Matra effect or magnetofection. This effect enables diseases and toxins to penetrate cells more easily, and it happens due to the polarization of cell membranes and gateways known as ion pumps. This process is used in labs to introduce foreign DNA into host cells, but it can be applied to biowarfare as a catalyst to enhance infectious diseases. Page 26. The Matra effect in combination with EMF-induced immune deficiency makes for a perfect storm that can turn ordinary infections into full-blown diseases. Even the ordinary flu can turn into a supervirus when people are exposed to new forms and new levels of radiation. Not only does this combination of immune deficiency and magnetically assisted transfection adversely affect the individual, it causes diseases to spread more aggressively in affected populations. Radiation exposure is much more dangerous than most people think. Despite assurances that it's as safe and effective as the vaccines, electromagnetic radiation negatively affects the human body in many ways and is not only harmful to the immune system but has devastating long-term effects on the nervous system as well. This is the main reason why every pandemic related to technology either affects the nervous system like polio or West Nile, or compromises the immune system to make common colds such as H1N1 much, much worse. EMF damage to the nervous system is linked to everything from multiple sclerosis to dementia. The effects of even low levels of EMF can be disastrous to nerve cells and the myelin sheets that protect them. Page 27 is an image. I don't know where Highway 95 is, but this is an image of a neighborhood in area. Page 28. Myelin sheets act as a form of insulation to better conduct signals along the nervous system, and they work very much like the insulation and electrical wiring. As the insulation degrades, things begin to short circuit and neurological diseases set in. While these may be lesser known side effects of EMF exposure, the diseases they cause are truly atrocious. This would be common knowledge and headline news in every country if it wasn't for the bribes being paid by those responsible. Telecom companies use donations and advertisements as incentives to keep politicians and news outlets quiet. Wireless radiation not only fires the immune system and the nervous system, it interferes with the metabolic pathways associated with biological energy production. When you eat something, it eventually turns into biological energy, known as ATP. This is the energy currency cells use to perform their functions. EMF disrupts that process and can cause an extreme form of fatigue that is torturous in nature. Which tracks. Since these biological effects happen progressively and are induced by a process that is invisible to the eyes, the effects look unrelated to the untrained mind. The disruption of biological processes become a major problem for most people above the age of 30 and leads to the progressive decline of overall health. Page 29. When EMF hits the brain, it not only attacks nerve cells, it also interferes with the very brain waves responsible for thinking. Victims gradually get worse over time as their exposure rates are sustained or increased. And as a result, a type of syndrome sets in. Victims become zombified by cognitive decline and then crushed by extreme fatigue, making them virtually defenseless as other EMF-related diseases kick in to finish them off. Here's page 29. Even if exposure to safe forms of radiation doesn't immediately kill people like a bullet to the head, EMF still does kill over time by enabling other diseases to flourish. And these diseases kill in ways that are so horrific that a bullet to the head would be much more preferable. No. Sorry. I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Ron. We fight until we can fight no more, and then we fight more. EMF makes every disease worse, even the flu. That is why shielding against EMF radiation has become a priority for many people. EMF shielding has become a multi-billion-dollar industry as more and more people become aware of the dangers related to EMF radiation. And shielding is the only way to survive a direct kill shot from an energy weapon. I don't know about that. Here's an image of page 30. And that is all we're going to read today. I will pick up another day and see what else Ron Johnson has to say about EMF shielding. I like the bits where he explains how the EMF is really targeting the immune system, and from a personal standpoint, I have noticed extreme cognitive and biological function decline over the past 5 years. And when I'm watching people talk about how they've been targeted for 10, 20 plus years, and they still have some way to communicate, and it just went dead. The whole thought. That happens a lot. Okay, well, thanks for stopping by. I will pick up reading sometime in the future. To all TIs out there, and to all people who are just savvy to the information. I mean, technically everyone's a TI when you really think about it. It affects, this weaponry affects people differently, and not everyone knows. So that's what we need to do, right? We need to spread awareness and educate ourselves and educate people. Okay. Well, have a great day. Stay safe out there.